welcome to the stream. Here we go. Trying to rush in for you guys. All right. So, a lot of you guys know about a story that many commentary channels have been weighing in on, let's say, for, God, like a year. I don't know. I'll figure that out once we talk to our guest, Arpanet. I'm going to get him in here in 2 seconds. I just want to let you guys know. We uploaded a video on Jay Station, and we're not talking about him tonight right now. Maybe when we get to the after show. But the reason I'm bringing him up is because he did exactly what we thought he would do. Exactly what we thought he would do, and tried to resurrect his girlfriend at 3 a.m. He ended up deleting all of the videos. You need to watch the video I uploaded this morning. Check it out when you get an opportunity. But right now, we're going to bring in the Arpanet. We're going to talk about a social media influencer that almost certainly has bought subs, and the strange kind of situation that occurred around it. But first, let's introduce, let me unmute us, the Arpanet. How you doing, man? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.
I'm doing well. How's it going?
Great, man. I followed Creepshow Art's link to your channel, and you did such good coverage on the Lillee Jean situation. You guys had some good live streams, and when I talked to you a day or two ago, you seem to know a lot about it. I'm doing a video on it, but I thought maybe you could give us like a little bit of what happened so that people can get caught up on the story, because everybody asks themselves this question about certain influencers all the time. Do they buy subscribers? Do they buy views? And your story is fascinating, so hook us up. How did you find out about... Oh, first off, mods, please go grab the link to his channel and drop it in the live chat. And then hook us up, man. Like, how did you get involved in this story? How did you find out about it? And then we'll get into all the other stuff. So, I mean,
we can definitely get into that. First, I just want to preface all this by saying that I am a biased actor in all of this, right? Yeah. I have a definite agenda, that I have beliefs that cannot be 100% substantiated, but within like a reasonable degree, we kind of know what's going on. So for those of you not in the know, Lillee Jean is a beauty influencer or YouTuber who got her start on Instagram. And she primarily does like makeup videos. So she'll stand in front of a camera, put on some makeup, and talk about whatever products she's using. Sometime last year, a Reddit post went up that questioned why, I believe she was 15 or maybe 16 at the time. I don't have the facts there. Why somebody that age had 1 million followers on Instagram. And that kind of became a catalyst for Lillee Jean's mother, a woman by the name of Laura Truman, to kind of spur out in those Reddit comments. Now, my initial exposure to Lillee Jean was on a Reddit cringe video where she had some sort of like tryout video about like trying out for acting, or like a demo reel, or whatever you want to call it. But I didn't really think too much of it. And moving past that, a couple of years later, found that Reddit post, did a video on whether or not the followers were bought, during which Lore raided my stream. Eventually privacy struck it, which I can't recover. Lore, if you're out there, thank you for teaching me the value of recording locally.
So you can't even get that stream. It's like gone now?
I can't. Yeah, it's a weird thing, because it as far as I can tell, it wasn't an actual DMCA. It was like an emergency privacy copyright, because I was talking about... Yeah, I mean, it was kind of bizarre. That's like the only thing that I ever want back. But yeah, so like that was kind of my introduction into the LJ saga.
Yeah, bro, it clearly is a saga. It's got so many twists and turns. It's got allegations of false strikes. It's got allegations of, I would say, I'd have to say, thousands and thousands of dollars spent on fake followers. And And it's such a crazy story. And like Creepshow, you worked with Creepshow on a video, and it's a great video that she just put it up not too long ago that went into more about this story. I think I got it up on the screen now. Do you think that she definitely faked her following or a substantial portion of it? Or like, where are you at with that? Because I know Creepshow does. So what's your thoughts in the end of it?
So, I mean, I think that when we talk about this topic, we need to make a dividing line between Lillee Jean and Laura Truman. I think that now that Lillee Jean is an adult now, she can kind of make her own decisions, and we should be able to criticize those decisions. Initially, I mean, I reacted to my findings with a lot of sympathy for Lillee Jean, but ultimately, in terms to this is a very roundabout way of getting to your question. So because there were there's a lot of back and forth, and this is actually a topic I'd like to get into a little later, just around like the debate community's coverage of the LJ thing, because as I've dug into it, it's I feel like Lillee Jean is being used as Franz Ferdinand during World War I or pre-World War I. And that there's some sort of weird war happening between all of you guys that I don't really know about, but I have my suspicions.
It's kind of a way to describe it. Yeah, I suppose it's turned into that. It's interesting to think of it that way, but go ahead. Sorry.
But either way. So because there were all of these just blanket accusations around, these followers look bought, these followers look purchased, a lot of these followers are Indian or Arabic men, like why would they be following some girl on Instagram? That was kind of an easy cloister for Laura to sit in. She could just wave that off, and she could say, well, you don't have receipts, you don't have receipts, you don't have receipts. And that's true, right? So because of that, to be blunt, out of spite, I just wrote a program. I had it crawl at the time she had 1.1 million followers. And I scraped all of that content. I put it into an Excel spreadsheet and spent like a week in Baltimore when I was traveling, just going through all of the data. And once you start going through 1 million records, you start recognizing that there are patterns. And so like there are patterns around words like fake. There are patterns around profiles being in just complete Arabic with no followers and following 4,000 people. And then to back that up,
that's what got me. Yeah.
Sure. And then like to back that up, I ended up creating a couple of fake Instagram accounts, uploaded some generic pictures onto them, and then bought a bunch of followers for those accounts just to kind of see what happens. And I saw the same ebb and flow of the bot farm pushing me a bunch of bots, and then Instagram simultaneously having this war where those bots get deleted. So on one account, I think I bought 5,000, of which, I mean, at this point, I think I maybe have like 2,800 left. And it kind of mirrors that same fluctuation that we see on the Lillee Jean account. Now,
do you think that that's the Instagram knocking those accounts off because they're suspicious? Why does that happen, do you think?
I think it's probably a combination of people reporting them.
The
thing about like it's a combination of people reporting them, and it's a combination of Instagram's automated systems picking up on patterns. Somebody who has 500 followers all of a sudden doesn't gain 50,000 followers unless there's something like substantial, like somebody blows up from some media sensation or some musical track or something like that, which to my knowledge hasn't happened with LJ.
Because it's easy to search and find if those types of viral things happen. I've always done that myself. There's a lot of people that get accused in videos, and you can just search. You can use like tools like that thing vidIQ that's built into YouTube, and you can see everywhere something's been shared, which I think is really fascinating. You can even do that on the internet. But anyway, back to this story. The thing that gets me is this has gotten so much attention by so many different people that did things like you kind of went in hardcore, right? Why did you
Sure.
go in so hardcore? You told me, but I want you to tell everybody what got you there.
Well, so I basically, after that initial stream, Laura Truman slipped into my DMs on Twitter. We had a talk. She appealed to me as a parent. She's also a parent, and I attempted to kind of do some more digging. I promised that I would do more research into things, and in doing that, I mean, Laura effectively manipulated me, because later she found out that I was an active member of a website called Kiwi Farms, which has a thread on Lord Truman, and she basically cut off all communication, leaked all my DMs, which is totally fine. I also leaked them in full, and at that point, it just became kind of just a passion project, really, and like it's stupid because I'm a 32-year-old man. I know nothing about makeup. I know nothing about that entire world, but being able to like apply analytics, being able to apply programming, and being able to apply spite against somebody who is sitting there with their fingers in the ears saying no, 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 no. I mean, it is fun, right? Like I'm not going to deny that there's a lot of passion behind the work that I've done. So I think that to be honest, and this isn't to like say that people shouldn't talk out or speak up about what they believe in, but had Laura just let that video go into the ether, it would just go into the ether, and no one would have seen it other than I think like 30 people. So
yeah, because you're a relatively new channel. You've only been live streaming for like, you told me, I think 6 months or so. So like, it wouldn't have damaged her at all unless it went massively viral and all that. And it is weird. It makes me think that Laura's a little bit obsessive or maybe a little bit out there, but I don't know.
No, I mean, she is out there for sure. I mean, I've done coverage on, her as a person. I've done coverage on her family as like a whole. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of, God, like I'm not a psychiatrist or anything to that degree. So, I mean,
a lot of narcissism I've seen.
It strikes me as incredibly self-centered. Because, for example, when people don't engage with her, she'll spurg out until she gets that attention. So at least that's been my general experience.
But you said she came on your show eventually, right? Or you might have said that since we started talking. So yeah, how in the world? It seems crazy. No one had interviewed her, and you got the interview. It's awesome.
Well, so actually, that wasn't me. That was a YouTuber by the name of Skynet, which I know sounds similar to Arpanet. A gal by the name of a gal by the name of Tori. So Tori ended up kind of ingratiating herself with Lore, and I think that Tori's whole angle on all of this was to play neutral and try to bring both sides together. And she's kind of the only person, to my knowledge, who has done that so far. So we had a live stream. The audio is complete crap, so that's what it is. But it really kind of, I think, shows just Laura's mindset, just like the way that she talks, the way that she communicates. I think that Laura is more conniving. I don't want to use the word conniving. She's more clever than people give her credit for. And I think that, so kind of going into what I wanted to talk about here as well.
Yeah.
The whole philosophy tube has, for whatever reason, decided to glom on to the Lore story. I think, and this is just my own speculation, and if I could kind of rant here for a sec, I would appreciate it.
Take it.
I feel like the philosophy tube, in the disaster of Steve McRae and his partner and the entire lawsuit between them, and I say this as a complete layperson, not knowing anything about the history other than the live stream that Steve and Lore and Lillee Jean were on, I think that they're now searching for their next target and their next thing to talk about. And I think that LJ is that, as I said earlier, is that Franz Ferdinand in taking sides. So like, for example, I was called out today by someone named Elusive Man on like a live stream.
Oh no.
Who I believe like you two have beef with each other.
He has more beef towards me than I do towards him. He just doesn't let things go, I guess. But yeah.
Well, I mean, like either way, it doesn't really matter to me, right? But I think that the Philosophy Tube community is kind of imploding on itself because now they're looking for new content, and so they're all racing to cover this LJ lore thing, and I don't really understand why that is. It's like almost an argument over cyberbullying, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
But the thing that I fear, I fear for you, I fear for this Elusive Man, I fear for others who want to cover the topic, is that they don't really get, they're not willing to do the dive. They're not willing to look at the history. They're not willing to actually question things. They'll take things at surface value. And that's like really concerning to me. And
Okay.
I guess all I want to say is like, take this as like a warning. I mean, like, this is a tale where people have been doxxed. This is a tale where people's lives have been threatened. This is a tale where, you know, even random people that happen to have the same name as people who are involved in this have been called at work. So,
dude, you're literally describing what I just went through for like the last month and a half too. So that sucks. Did this happen to you? Who's it happened to? Like, who's had the issues?
Oh, I mean, like I've been threatened directly. Directly in quotes. I say that because it was by apparently one of Laura's friends, that this guy was going to come all the way from Portland, Oregon, over to the East Coast to murder not only me but my family. Which obviously,
oh my God, dude.
You can just, I mean, you can brush that aside to some
Not
extent.
when you
I'm not
have
trying to get
not
sympathy.
when you have kids. No, I'm not. You know, I'm not doing that. But hold on, really quick. Learning with Suge donated and said, "Love the Arpanet, best new show on YouTube." You got a fan out there, dude.
Suge is my sugar daddy.
Oh, gotcha.
Suge basically makes it possible for me to like pay for subscriptions on like newspaper sites and like actually do the deep diving that I need to do. He is like definitely my he's my sugar daddy.
He's a fan, man.
Appreciate him.
Hardcore.
So.
Hey, do me a favor, okay? Because you just brought up that you were worried people may not do a deep dive and really get into the, the whole thing. So before, I don't want to like do it now, but before we end out,
sure.
Remind me to go back to that and get your advice on what you think, because you've been through this story. How long have you guys done? This has been going on for a while, right? Or
I think I've been touching this for like 3.5, 4 months.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like,
so
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not really that long, right? This is not an Onision or I'm trying to think of like whatever other like
J
a Jake
Station
Paul,
or yeah,
sure. Right. I mean, this is something that kind of has floated underneath the undercurrent, and the people that were interested in it or who happened to stumble on it, they all of a sudden like they became hyper focused on it. So I mean, it's not been that long, but there is like a lot that I don't think that the lay person is going to be able to just pick up, because the automatic response, the automatic feeling is, well, either she bought followers or she didn't. This is either cyberbullying or it isn't, and people are very quick to take sides. And this isn't a story where it can be, you versus Elusive Man. You have to question stuff.
Yeah, don't worry about him here. I completely ignore him. That was the issue a few weeks ago. They were streaming and they threatened me and all this on their stream. So I just ignore people that threaten to dox me or threaten me or whatever. So yeah, that's not even an issue at this point.
Sure.
Kind of like you with whoever did it to you. I'm sure that your whole thing is to completely avoid them, because I know that people have said Lore's done that. I'm not trying to throw Lore under a bus or whatever, but that's kind of the feeling people get. It's really weird, because what is about these stories? And I know you don't know about the one before, but that makes people that crazy to where they're so afraid of people talking about it. Well, what do you think in your situation? What was it that made people that scared that they felt to go to that level? Like,
do you mean on like Laura's part? Is that?
I don't know. Like, who, I'm sure you don't know who threatened you, but, stock accounts do it. But what could it be? Because even if, let's say, let me do it in the form of like a question, or just give me your thoughts on it.
Sure.
What if, let's say, it came completely out that somebody finds ultimate evidence that Lillee Jean, let's even throw out a number, she bought half of it. It's not going to change anything. It's not like Instagram or whoever's not going to step in and say, well, thanks for the data, we're going to do something. They don't care. Just like YouTube wouldn't, because, it's a small little group of people in this giant thing covering the earth. So, but anyway, there would be nothing, I think, that could come out in any of these stories that would really affect the money-making potential or the people involved. So I just always felt it's so crazy that people go that far,
Yeah, I mean, the worst that could come out really isn't, I mean, I don't want to say that there's anything else hidden or not hidden, but I have a feeling that, what's happened so far has come out. And that's just a result of like the very good work from all of the call out accounts. There's like Harper Stanley, there's BFFDs. Like these are people that have like really done the groundwork. They've really done the research. They've really done all of that. And I think to like even tackle this topic, you kind of have to do the same thing. Like this isn't like a case of like let's review some like court documents. I mean, everything here to some degree is inductive, right? And there's nothing that can be conclusively proven, which I think is a stupid way of looking at the world. But I mean, that's a we can talk about that till the cows come home. But at the end of the day,
no, I get that. I appreciate that you said that, because I think that that's what happens a lot of times. Somebody that's really popular could draw a conclusion, and then there's going to be so many other people that draw the conclusion without thinking about it. I'm with you on what you're saying here. Yeah, you see the danger of it.
Right. Yeah, and then like in the background of all of this, you basically have a couple. So there are effectively a couple different camps, right? There's the whole bot versus not bot followers. That doesn't really matter at this point. I think that we can, without being able to see her credit card receipts, I can infer that a lot of them are bot. Maybe not all of them. I came across some accounts during my scraping. I was like, oh, this seems like a normal guy. But this is also my own bias, right? This is also my own filter. I have an agenda here. My agenda is these are bot following. So how do I prove that? And like I tried to get away from that as much as I could. But I mean, there's just always going to be bias one way or the other. The other part of it, right, is the relationship between Laura and LJ. And I think as much as like people comment on it, I've commented on it in my own way. Ultimately, that's not really for us to decide one way or another, because family dynamics,
mom, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And like family dynamics are family dynamics. Just like in the same way, if someone were to like criticize what I say to my wife, or like make some sort of judgment on that, it's like you don't know what happens behind closed doors, like what's actually said. So I mean, like I think that it's fair to criticize things, at least when LJ was a child. But now LJ is, she's 18, and she can make her own choices. But of course, it's been primed by years and years of being homeschooled, kind of kept away from, well, kind of like guarded by mommy. I think that the phrase I used last night was, she is the Lillian Soprano of the internet. So.
Which is, I appreciate what you're saying there. I don't like, my intent, if I covered the story, is just to give my my subscribers, my opinion, really, or to just inform them. I really don't, I didn't plan to go on a deep dive or whatever. But then again, that's how everything starts before a deep dive happens. But, I can't say one way or the other right now. But this story is fascinating because the people that have weighed in on it were, regardless of all this crazy stuff that happened in the background or people having threats or whatever, the people that weighed in on it did such a good job. Like, you pulling that data on those accounts. And I know there's a lot of other people that did stuff, and I'm getting caught up on all of it. So, of course, you know, what they did and how other people weighed in, you guys didn't just take it to a surface level. You guys had a respect for someone, even though it seemed like that person was kind of trying to manipulate you, trying to, you know, it was really cool how the story worked out, in my opinion. I don't think anyone got, I mean, if I'm wrong, let me know, but I don't think anyone got hurt in the end, and more people, I think, know the truth now, and maybe it even helped Lillee Jean on YouTube. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? It got a lot of attention.
The problem, right, isn't that any of us got hurt. Like, the problem is that innocent people had their jobs called.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because
that happened with me too.
Well, but like, so like this goes back to kind of my hesitation around I mean, and like, I'm not trying to like gatekeep here, right? Like,
bro,
you guys do whatever the hell you want. But if you're going to tackle this thing shallowly, like, Lore kind of has done the same, where she'll just throw like a name into Google, she'll look it up, or she'll read something and assume it's true. This is like a case where you have to assume that everyone, including me, is a bad actor.
Yeah.
You know, we all have agendas. I mean, what's like the term you guys like to use? Narrative.
Sorry.
Right? I mean, which is a part of being human, and which
exactly,
is
yes,
part of the inductive process, because
even if you're being truthful, you've got the narrative of truth. Even if you're, you know, if you're trying to make money, your narrative is making money, you know. Yeah, it's just a word, but no, that is funny because people have been some good videos have been made about that word lately.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, do we want to dive into like into the Steve McRae stuff, or
it's okay. Let's see what time it is. Let me judge it there. I mean, sure, you know, I'll leave out everything that has to do with me and him and what happened there.
Sure.
But if it's part of the story, yes, you know, if it's part, because it is. Actually, I don't know what I'm thinking, because that was something that I didn't. You know, I was talking to Steve at the time when all that happened, with him weighing in on Lillee Jean, but I was busy with so many other things at that time. I didn't really pay close attention. So he got kind of through that without me at all, weighing in on anything. So yeah, I definitely love to hear your side. So,
well, so I mean, like, I think I can say pretty objectively that the story is this, or at least the preface of this is, so
what's your opinion? Just give me your opinion that way.
No. So like the story is that Creepshow hears about the whole LJ thing and decides to cover it on one of her videos, and that kind of raises a lot of heads because Creepshow has a pretty big following.
Yeah, and
she just basically questions the following, and that causes, as far as I can tell, granted, I don't really. I don't know what happened behind the scenes on how Steve McRae and Lord Truman know each other, or how they became involved. I don't really care. But anyway, Steve has LJ and Lore on the Caffeine Corner, I believe is his show. And during
Lore went on the Caffeine Corner. Lore did? I just want to make sure I heard you.
Yeah,
I didn't know
so
that.
I mean, like, that's also kind of like a common thread, is whenever LJ is streaming, Lore is always kind of there. And once again, you know, some moms are very close to their daughters. My mom is like the same, because she had 3 boys and we call her like once a month and she hates it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so I have no idea what that family dynamic is actually like. But anyway, both LJ and Lore were on this stream, and the message that I got out of it, just based off of my watching, was that unless somebody has credit card receipts, you can't prove anything. If the glove does not fit, you must acquit. So
sorry.
And that's what kind of led me into like the whole spiral into scraping everything, because I was like, fine, you want actual data here, and
yeah, dude. It's admirable, dude. That's crazy shit too. I mean, it took you what, a week or something to pull all of it? It's awesome.
Yeah, it was just it's just like a background running process. But yeah, I mean, it was any easy task. Now, like in terms of my interactions with Steve, other than like me making fun of him, calling him like a sea lion or whatever, I've basically not had any interactions other than I believe like 1 or 2 tweets where he asked like, "Do you have the receipts?" And I said, "Well, no, but I'm in the process of getting it." So I think that's like the only way that Steve and LJ kind of cross as far as I know. I mean, it stinks of clout chasing. It stinks of publicity.
Kind of. Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. Cited publicity or cited shout out is kind of my thought, but I don't know if that works. But sorry.
But like that's been kind of my experience with like the debate community as like a whole. It's this thing where because like no one other than like a select few. Like there are people that like do the deep diving. Like the one that comes to mind would be like drag. I
just want to make sure you know I'm not a member of the debate community. I'm just a commentator.
No. I'm just calling this out because like
okay, good. No, go ahead.
There are like concentric circles here, and I just want to make my position like very clear.
You're more than welcome to.
So, yeah, I think that there's like a complete lack in the debate community of people willing to actually do research.
For debating,
with the exception. Well, but like even the debating becomes this thing where it's about scoring points. I think that you and I talked about this last night, where it's like, you know, if you look at somebody like Destiny is going to sit there and try to just score points on drilling down on definitions until it becomes pedantic. That's not really the form of debate that I grew up with, but it just, I guess all I'm trying to warn is if you're going to get involved in this, anyone out there, do it right. You have to do it right. You have to put in the legwork. You have to assume that I'm lying to you. You have to go look at my scraped records, assume that all those scraped records, which you can find on Kiwi Farms, are falsified. You have to go about it in that way. Otherwise, at the end of the day, like, in my experience, people will like use it.
Let me say this, bro. You're right. Because the last story I covered, I was asked, excuse me, I have an upper respiratory infection. I'm sorry. I keep coughing and stuff.
Oof, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. I shouldn't be vaping with it. That's the issue. That's why it's sticking around.
Yeah.
So, fuck, I forget where I was going with that. Shit. Go ahead, man. I lost my train of thought. That worst thing an interview can happen, but I did it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I think it kind of leads to the question, if I may ask one, like, why all of a sudden, in your opinion, is there this sudden interest in this story? Like,
I don't know. All I know is because of me going, okay, I'll eventually have to sit down with you, hopefully live if we get time, and talk about what happened with this last issue. Because I was asked to cover for years I've done a playlist called Versus Mode, where any YouTuber out there that has butts heads with another YouTuber, I don't care if it's like, you know, big YouTuber versus medium YouTuber, but if it's interesting to me, I'll do it, and I'll call it Versus Mode, and I just try to show both sides, let people know what I think, and show them what's there. But like commentary, though, not like a really deep investigation or something, you know, that's just Versus Mode. But I was asked to weigh in on the Katie Joy situation, and I had weighed in on the non sequitur situation, which was Steve and Kyle, their show breaking up. So throughout that time, you know, these things got brought up to me or on my show, because I have a history of streaming a lot. And then, like, if Steve jumped in, or if you want to jump in the future, whoever I'm on good terms with, they're welcome to jump in any random stream or any open stream I'm doing. So these things got brought up. My audience heard about it. And then after this all happened with the non sequitur stuff and the Katie Joy stuff, it's all ended. It's all over, and I've made up my mind on it. And the videos I'm going to put out are done to the point of releasing them. I've been asked to cover this, or to give my opinion on this, because whether or not I wanted it to happen, people took it as if I was backing Steve throughout the Lillee Jean thing. And I'm like, whoa, just because I talked to the dude during that. So I want to lay it out. I want to make sure people know how I feel about it, just because my audience asked me. Now, I don't know. Like, it's literally news to me that there are other people getting involved in this story, because I don't even know if I've mentioned it other than reaching out to you. I don't know if maybe somebody, like one of my mods or something, tweeted something and other people saw it. I have no clue what happened, but that's all I can tell you is why I'm looking into it. I don't know. I don't know who else would be. It just strikes me
as, I mean, because like I got called out on Elusive Man stream, which is, I mean, it's fine. I'm more than happy to.
When did that happen? Like how long ago?
I believe it happened when Kobe died. So I think it was like that
today.
Night. So
yesterday?
So last night, I believe. Yeah.
So basically, dude, you got to understand, I'm not trying to weigh the way you feel on it, but
oh no.
Something
No.
Oh, well, let me say this. Something tells me that after I contacted you, other people that like to kind of stalk me a little bit started to mix into this. Maybe that could be an issue, but I don't know. It's like I don't communicate with any of them, so God knows what happened, but that's just my feeling.
Well, like here's the thing. I mean, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. I think the thing that stuck out to me was the tribalism of it, right? There's like, there seems to be, as far as this is all just my own speculation. This is all tribalism. And it strikes me, if we come back to like the whole theme of LJ being Franz Ferdinand and her interactions with YouTube being the dividing line that allows one side to then combat another side. It's like, I think that people are kind of missing the point. And
for sure, because that's too, not sorry to interrupt, but that's too cancel culture for me, man. That's just going in there. How does anyone know how they're going to feel until they look into it anyway, right?
Well, I mean, that's like American politics 101 at this point, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it seems like a lot of people are making up their mind before they even know what happened.
Right. Which brings us back to the whole, like, in order for anyone to really cover this, they need to have a deep understanding of the history. They need to, I mean, even go so far back as to talk about, the murder of Lord's sister, which is a terrible case, a suspicious case. Like, they need to kind of do their homework. Otherwise, it's just going to be, I don't like you, so therefore I'm going to take this other side, which isn't what I would think philosophy should be, or debate for that matter.
Well, that's the problem, bro. That's why, like, I've called out certain things exactly like you're saying here. I won't go into any of it, of course, because it would just muddy things. But I also don't want to drag you into that whole thing either. So unless you eventually get there somehow by choice, I mean, it'd be up to you, not other people, to bring you into these things, in my opinion.
The beauty, at least, and this is like me like sucking myself off. Sorry, I'm
No, you're good. Go ahead. Here. No, you're no problem.
But I would like to think that at least the call-out accounts, like myself, Creepshow, the beauty of the way that we've investigated all of this is that there are no alliances. And I think that that's kind of like the second message I would give to, the community at large. We're all free acting agents. We are kind of this weird pirate ship that is constantly eating itself and repairing itself. We are a literal ship of, was it Odysseus or Theseus? Where it's constantly degrading and constantly repairing. But there's no loyalty. And I think that that's kind of important, because coming off of like the whole Steve McRae versus Kyle thing, granted, I've not looked into it. It seems that there's a lot of emphasis on taking sides, and if that happens, lore will take advantage of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that here, bro. That's one of the reasons why people are hate my ass. I will. That's what happened with the Katie Joy situation. I guess it was assumed that I was on Steve's side, and that's why I was asked to weigh in on this whole thing. But when I go where the evidence goes, so once I had evidence that all the major points they called out Katie or this other YouTuber for, they were screenshots that it never got verified, so I wouldn't accept them. There was a copy strike where there was no data involved. There was no, then to prove the copy strike that lacked data, they put out a actual picture of a strike that had spelling errors and formatting errors to it, and it was fake. Basically, you get a look into this shit, dude. It's crazy, but I wouldn't then take I wasn't taking a side to begin with as much as that's what people will say. So people will tell you now that I'm on Katie's side because I debunked the reasons that Katie was being attacked. And in all reality, this entire time I've told people, whatever criticism you have, if you want me to consider it or look at it, you can send it to me, and I will. But that's the issue. There's no criticism more than minor ones. So the whole point of taking sides completely defeats stories. That's what's wrong with the news right now. They are on a side. Right. They're on an agenda, and that's why you're going to have BuzzFeed always coming one way, and you're going to have, like an alt-right source going the exact opposite all the time, and that's what's ruined media, in my opinion. But anyway, back to
well, media ruined media, but
yeah.
Right? I mean, they kind
video
of
killed the radio star. I don't know.
That's sure. Yeah, media just media Epstein, right? I mean,
yeah, themselves.
Yes, yeah. So
that's a really good fucking. That's a good point, dude. Wow, because yeah. It seems like it killed itself, but really it was murdered by somebody that was taking sides. No, I'm going too deep.
Really, it was Hillary Clinton. Yeah.
Hillary Clinton is BuzzFeed in this point.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, it's 10:07. I know that you said 10:30. So where are we at here? You just got into the whole philosophy, the debate part, and all that. And
sure.
Where does that fit in? Let's get into it because we brought it up. Let's not leave it, hanging. What happened? Like, were you were looking into the Lillee Jean story before this happened, where the debate and the philosophy community weighed in? So, what
Correct.
happened after they weighed in? You mentioned it was cited and that. So,
yeah, I mean, like my interaction with I guess Cheshire and Steve was like very minimal. I think they said maybe like one or two things to me, and then I was just blocked. Which I mean is their prerogative.
I think that's very interesting because you've got some really interesting evidence that goes way beyond just like give me a credit card receipt or fuck off. Like your evidence, there was something that Steve said on my show when he was trying to convince me that Katie Joy's, these screenshots that exposed Katie Joy, when he was trying to convince me that I should consider them without them being verified, there's so much circumstantial evidence that Katie would say something like that. You should prescribed that she did. And I said no. And it's really interesting to see that you are letting him know, like, look, I'm doing this scrape. I'm going to have all the records. We can go through it. And that should be the one thing anyone would want, at least to a point, as much as they could verify it in this story. And for him to block you off the bat, it's like kind of just throwing that out the window, I don't get it.
Well, yeah. I mean, like the reality of it, at the end of the day, there is my side, there is the other side, and there is the truth.
The truth.
Like what my vision is, what somebody else's vision is. And I mean, I don't really fault Steve for doing that. I don't care. Like there's like beauty in it. But so after that, effectively, effectively, like things kind of went quiet ish. And so the month of January, which on my show we called January after Lillee Jean, I kind of started picking up again because Creepshow had teased that she was working on a second video. She pulled in some of the collaborators or the people that were involved with the LJ story as collaborators onto her video. I think that was the video that you had played earlier. And then at that point, I actually started digging more into the death of her sister, which is a fucked up case. It's a case where this woman, Brenda Wolf, her husband and she own a jewelry store, and one day in March of '95, in Franklin, New Jersey, these three guys walk into her jewelry store. And they try to hold it up, during which the husband fires his gun, and it ends up striking his wife, which is strange.
Oh my God!
And so, like, there are ultimately a lot of mob connections that come out of it. There are a lot of connections to Kansas City that come out of it, and more digging into like that kind of aspect of this entire family story. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
What year was that?
That was in 19. That was like March 1995.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I mean,
Damn.
and like this is occurring at the same time as the O.J. Simpson trial. So the juxtaposition isn't lost. You know, it's
Yeah.
a family member slaying another family member, and it's a question of, was this an accident or was this intentional?
Wow, dude. You got
So I mean,
videos up of this, or have you discussed it on
there
your
are,
show?
yeah. So I
Okay.
mean, there's two separate streams. One which talks about the cases, or the facts of the case that police found, and then the other stream which kind of walks through the trial. So yeah, I mean, oh, and then of course we had a quote unquote debate about this with a woman by the name of Original Nilsson, which was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. It was with a guy named Umancer who has this like egg mask, and
I saw
it's
that.
the most terrible example of like what a debate is in the history of debate. But it
Yeah.
was fun.
I liked the
I think
stream. I thought everybody was cool as hell during that stream, dude. The whole concept, you know, like sarcastically, like this great debate going on. That was funny, dude. That was a good little meme there, you know.
but like that's kind of us poking fun at this entire debate idea, you know, like it's this
Yeah.
thing where, because no one's
The
willing to
fake
put in the
debate.
work.
Yeah.
Well, it is because like, and now I'm just like ranting, but like it's this thing where
Do
for
it.
whatever reason no one's willing to put in the work to do the thing, and so the only idea of content is your followers and what somebody else is saying to you. And so like it's this constant like scraping of like the bottom of the barrel just to maintain relevancy, because at the end of the day, people that are like watching this content, and this is actually what turned me off to I think we talked about Revenge of the Cis last night,
Mhm.
and the two co-hosts there who run their own separate shows. The problem is that anybody can do that. Anybody can talk about drama. Anybody can talk about the news. Anybody can speculate. And like at the end of the day, once that's done, the content is just disposed. There's nothing substantial about it. Um, which is like why I feel like a lot of people are turning their eye onto the LJ thing, because it's this like rabid piranha fest where they're looking for the next carcass. But
Mm.
like that's just kind of the way that I see things as a quote unquote outsider. So
Yeah, man. No, I mean, I have a way of combating those issues of let's call it viral chasing or whatever it may be there, right? I always try
it's
to take
it's like
time.
clout, right? It's like clout
Yeah.
chasing is what it is.
I try to take a lot of time in between when something is really interesting and when the way in. And I've only done that in the past. Like that's why I haven't released my non sequitur versus mode video now, or the Katie Joy end video, which should have been out, 3 weeks ago or something. If I wanted to really capitalize on everybody's interest in it, I would have put it
Sure.
out then. The reason I'm not,
Sure.
that extra time, I think combats that one. And then also, I'd rather do a lot of live streams where I do what I'm doing now, like talk to you or talk to Skynet, talk to people that have been a part of the story and get their perspective. So I can really appreciate all the stuff you're saying right now, because it's honest. You're being real. I feel the same way you do, and it was one of the primary reasons why I have no qualms fucking. I do what I do, and that's what I like about
Sure.
what you said, because you were just basically saying I'm doing what I do. Creepshow's doing what she does. We're all doing what we do. Fuck the sides in it, and that's how it should be. You can't even have a debate without criticizing. You can't have, if you're not willing to criticize someone else, the entire thing is worthless and empty. And then you're going to get a bunch of, as time goes on, it'll turn into yes manning. It'll turn into, oh God, I can't criticize now, because if I do, then the other YouTuber I work with isn't going to want to work with me. I would just rather rip the band-aid off right then and just criticize away in that point. But that's just me.
I've always been struck by Christopher Hitchens, and he's quoted as saying that his mother told him and gave him one rule as he grew up, and like the rule was, don't be boring, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that there's great wisdom in that, right? It's not saying like I'm like a very even keeled kind of guy. I'm very monotonous in like the way that I talk, or not monotonous, monotone in the way that I talk. I'm not some, hey guys, whatever, hey, it's me, whatever. But
you sound really right. That sounded legit when you did that, bro. Like,
yeah, right. I mean,
you could do that. I'm just playing.
But like at the end of the day, it's about the content. It's about the content. It's not about the clout chasing. It's not about the subs. It's not about the likes. It's not it. All that doesn't mean anything.
That comes through, bro. It reflects.
So,
if you do a good video, people are going to come watch it. Once people know about you, they're going to come watch it. You got good content. You could do
or
and
not.
The only reason,
or not.
Well, or not.
Who
exactly.
cares?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. If you don't have good content, it'll reflect in the end. Exactly. The YouTube algorithm, YouTube itself is all luck until you get these little bit of times where people watch your stuff, and then that's when they decide whether they're like, oh, I like this shit, I'm going to chill, or not. So there are good points and bad points to YouTube. It's just that the bad points outweigh the good points by millions of times over. But in the end, only reason I'm still around on the platform is just because, it's meeting cool people is worth it, in my opinion. It outweighs a lot of these other negative things.
Yeah, I mean, like, unless you want to go hang out with, like,
I'm cheesy.
The QAnon guys over on DLive, or not DLive, what is it? What's that other?
Yeah.
No. What's the other video platform? BitChute.
Oh, BitChute. Yeah.
So unless you're gonna go over there, it's like, where else are you gonna go? So.
Oh yeah, definitely, dude. Definitely. Okay, so we've got a couple more minutes. Before we start winding down, I'll pull up the live chat and have people ask questions if they want or whatever.
Sure.
But before we wind down, so is there any other thing between like where you left off there after I know this is the most like fucking initial conversation we could have, so hopefully we can get you back soon to continue on. But anything else that happened between when the Philosophy Great Debate guys came in, the aftermath of it, and you looking into this? I don't want to use the M word. But between what happened to Laura's sister, any other significant thing there, or is that pretty much where you're at?
Not really. I mean, the saga will unfold as it does. I'm sure that there will be a January part 2 next year. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at now.
Well, let me do it this way then. I'm going to mute us for about 30 seconds, and that way it'll give the live chat time to kind of, if they have anything to ask, they'll pump in. I'll go ahead and do that now. So live chat, hook it up. You got any questions for Arpanet or me as it pertains to this entire, story that probably a lot of you guys don't know about, but I'm sure there are a significant amount of you that do. Drop them in the chat now. Just try to tag me at UNIRocktv, or just type UNIRocktv and it'll tag me, because I'd like to get your opinion or your question or whatever you want to add in. So, and then we will try to round this out. So let's hurry up and get that done. So thanks for being here, y'all. I really appreciate you. If you like our show, you know how to support us. Hit the like button or the dislike button, and maybe subscribe, join, PayPal, whatever works for you. And we'll be here. Let me pull up my live chat and we'll get back into it. All right, I got her. Where is Waldo? I mean Dodger. I haven't seen him in a minute. It's been a minute. I hope to see him soon. He's got life going on. You know how that works. We all have that thing called life. So, okay, people are dropping the link. Navy is dropping the link to your channel. Appreciate that, Navy. Definitely check out. So what is the best videos over there for somebody that wants to see, I found a few that I thought were really awesome videos you did about the whole topic or whatever, but what's where would you send somebody to get initialized in this whole thing, to get to dip their feet in the water? What videos would you have them watch of yours?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're talking about my channel in general, I would say anything like past episode 20, where I actually shift 2 deep dives. Everything before that is pretty shitty. In terms of the LJ stuff, there is an episode called The Tale of the Lorax, and that was the stream after the previous stream had been copyright struck, or not copyright struck, privacy struck. From there, I mean, I'm sure at some point during every single episode, in some way, I touch on LJ, whether that be making fake commercials for bot sanctuaries, advertisements for Club Attic, where Lore and LJ live, just making like better versions of magazines that they've been featured in.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean it's all kind of there. So
hell yeah, dude. Okay, Snowdog says this. Did you follow the Twitter war or what happened on Twitter with the whole philosophy community, great debate community, after you were blocked? And if you did, what did you think of it?
I mean, I didn't. I knew Katie Joy by name. I knew actually you by name, but other than that, the only time that I've really followed it was when Steve and Kyle actually went to court. Well, I guess Steve went to court, and the motion that resulted from that. Mm-hmm. Apart from that, it's just if I look at LJ and Lore as like this very deep, intricate topic, the whole Steve McRae saga, like that entire thing is so. I mean, it is something that you could write tomes on,
Yeah, dude.
And
like, no one would give a shit. It'd be boring.
Right.
No one would read a book. So
exactly.
Like, why? Joelbot says, Arpanet seems cool. I like that he has the patience to spend time really diving into investigations like we do. Respect, bro. That's from Joelbot.
Thank you.
All right. Let me see if we got any other questions, comments real fast, and then we'll start to wind down here. Ask Arpanet who ate. Oh, it's Oomancer. He said who ate Patricia Hartman. I don't know what that means, ooh. I don't know what that means, ooh.
I do. So there was this I
like calling him ooh. It sounds cool.
Yeah, Oomancer and I think have some things that we need to talk through after this. But the entire like Patricia Hartman thing is a saga where Patricia Hartman, I believe, is like a model or some like runway. I have no idea who the fuck she is, but sorry, there's that word.
I said it several times too, buddy. No problem. It's okay.
So there were several photos of Lillee Jean and Patricia Hartman. And there were a lot of posts around like them being very good friends and things like that. As far as people have speculated, and this is speculation, this was like a paid event where people could take pictures with this famous model. But the entire time Lillee Jean was like saying that, that they're good friends and all this kind of stuff. But Patricia Hartman has never stepped up to defend anything. And like, that's not to say that they don't know each other. That's not to say that they aren't good friends. But it leads to the question of who ate Patricia Hartman, because she's nowhere to be found. She's buried deep down in the gullet, probably of Oomancer himself.
Or Lillee Jean. I mean, I could have done it. I mean, I could be the dude jumping in there and gobbling shit up. Okay.
Yes. I mean, like when you talk through like what's next, I think that the next step would be to figure out who ate Patricia Hartman.
There you go, buddy. Thank you for the question, Oomancer, and I do hope you and Arpa get to talk after this. So, okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, here we go. Learning with Such, and thank you, Such, for the donation earlier. It's too kind of you. The, quote, debate community, end quote, that can't stand dissent. Dude, you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, based off of like what I've seen in the whole debate community, it's, I mean, like I said, other than, I mean, I look at somebody like Dragnot seems to really kind of take his time on stuff.
Oh yeah,
but,
I feel that way
apart from that
too, yeah.
Brody, Nathan Brody, I appreciate his coverage. I made the mistake the other day of calling Nathan Brody Dragnot because they had streamed back to back. That was really embarrassing, but you have to.
You're evil. You're an evil guy. I'm just playing.
Apparently, in my mind, I think that all black people look the same. So what can you do?
Oh yeah, you're gonna get that on Twitter now. Just wait.
Yep, I'm sure.
Okay. Skynet podcast. Hey, good to see ya. Yes. Who ate Patricia Hartman? I love these memes. I am very jealous that I was not able to be a part of these crispy memes. They're crispy.
Look into it. Look into it.
Yeah, so let's see here. I think we're down to the bottom. Okay, good. We got it. Look, bro, let's go ahead and round down. And I just want to, you know, say this. So I appreciate you coming and talking. It's right now, I think that like, I had no freaking idea about this whole thing that you mentioned where other people are getting in on this story or anything before you said it. And I think it's pretty funny here that it happened like literally right after I reached out to you, and some of my mods were tweeting or hitting you up, or you got mentioned on the RockaLot channel, like that I wanted to talk to you, because I think I said that. I said, hey, you know, I was watching some of Creepshow stuff, and then I found your video and others, and I said, I'd like to talk to Arpanet. He seems like he did a really good job here. And so what I'm trying to say is, with all that happening, it's really cool that you still came, you still talked to us, you still came on the show. So I'd love to have you on more. I know you said you had to go around 10:30, but you're welcome on the after show, even later tonight, I don't know, or tomorrow, whenever you got time, when I'm on RockaLot. That's the show where, like, I can pull anybody in to talk just while I'm playing a video game, watching a video, or whatever we are doing. So hopefully you'll do that in the future. But thank you so much for coming and talking, man, because regardless, what you said about sides, what you said about treating this story the way it is, I'm glad that got, you know, but I'm glad that was focused on while we talked here. I think it's something we should all think about. So
yeah, I mean, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for having me on. And I guess the last thing I'll say is do your research.
Will do, buddy. And I hope everybody else out there that's now looking into the story because of whatever reason does it too. Skynet, I'd love to hear your side sometime. It'd be cool if we had a group chat sometime, but of course it's up to you guys. And reach out to me anytime. The best way to get a hold of me is through my Discord server. So hit me up. We'll take... Oh, here we go. Learning with Suge says, please have Knock back on, Uni. Great stream. Check out the Arpanet on Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube channel. All one word, the Arpanet. Definitely, Suge, and thank you, dude. I appreciate you. Arpa, dude, thank you. Thank you for coming, bro. I really, really appreciate you. Hopefully to hear from you really soon, man.
All right, sounds good. You have a good night, guys.
You too. See you, buddy. Okay, let me do my final thoughts. Let me talk for a minute to you guys. I'll pull up the live chat. I wouldn't have had Arpa leave right now, but it took us a little bit to get started just because we were being lax, and usually I'm not like that. So, oh, Leroy, my bro, you just you are too kind to me. But back to what I was saying. Let's do the let me give you my thoughts about this conversation and a little bit of the stuff that I've heard, and we'll end this out. But we're heading straight over to the YouTube channel, RockaLot. The mods will drop the link. The after show and the pre-show and just random streams, they go there because here on UNIRock 2, we live stream, we upload, but we do all of it with the mind to have content for you here. So if you are the type that's like, I want to see your long streams, I want to see the long discussions and stuff like that aren't, you know, towards a point, towards a topic, go to the RockaLot channel. But let's go. Let's do it. If my assistant would mind playing my song. Don't talk to me that way, Busy. All right. Yeah, you know, I really want to sit down and think about me looking into the Lillee Jean thing after talking to Arpanet. And honestly, it was a suggestion from the audience. It was a suggestion from you guys. I don't know if it came in email or if it was in Discord, but people have asked me to look at the Lillee Jean story now and to give my opinion on it. I didn't plan to do a deep dive. I planned to do a scan to go through and hear everybody's opinion and everybody's side and give a little bit of commentary over how Creepshow, Art, Arpanet, and even, I don't know the names of all the other channels, but Skynet, others that were involved in this, that's where I was going to go in. So my whole thing would not have been a discussion, a really deep discussion on Lillee Jean. It would have been a commentary on how Creepshow and all the other channels that got involved handled the story, and then what it seemed like my opinion or my I don't want to say side because it wouldn't be that, but no, it would be the right descriptor there, the right side, to give you my side, which would be considered, you know, against everyone other than whoever talks to me, right? Because this is what's happened in the last few months, where I was around a lot of people that constantly told me that they were open-minded, they talked to anybody. It didn't matter if they got criticized. You heard it on this channel from people. They sat here and over and over and over said, I know that I'll get criticized from Uni and I won't care because that's what we need. And, we know what happened. The minute I do criticize certain people, it became a war zone. It became an us versus them. And I don't, as much as people will go around telling you I play that game, I offer anybody to watch my content to decide that. Once I'm given the evidence, or it's a bad word to use because evidence is, an evidence is, like a YouTube video, a screenshot, the information that proves a screenshot's fake, or the information proves that a screenshot's confirmed. These are words that are used to describe what we use as evidence here. Actualizing, knowing, sarcastically saying we are reporters. Sarcastically saying that I'm going to investigate. Because Arpanet has a skill that I don't have. He has the skill to be able to scrape through Lillee Jean's follower list, knowing how to interact with the Instagram API. I wouldn't know how to do that, right? And I wouldn't know if his information's real or fake without talking to tech guys and getting a good opinion on it and looking at the data. And these are things that we do, but I'm open about every step we take. My video, when you go to watch my videos, you're going to literally have me tell you where I get my information, what I think about the information, what I consider fact, what I consider opinion, what I consider evidence, what I consider not provable. And that way, when I do sit down to talk to another YouTuber, we can have a conversation where they can bring up those individual things and say to me, you were wrong here, and I'll prove it, or I won't, or I will, or whatever, to be able to come out the other end and have an opinion. And that's why it's so important for us, unless people are trolling. And by trolling, of course, you got to define everything once you bump into the great debate community. You got to define everything. Me saying trolling means somebody that's not taking a topic seriously, trying to get laughs out of it, which would only complicate what we would complicate our ability to get to a point in a story where I can do a video on it. I'm a YouTuber. I know that. I've known it the whole time. I don't think I'm an investigative journalist. If I say it in a sarcastic way, in a funny way, but that's just to have a little bit of laughs. I know I'm not an investigative journalist. I know that the truth is a cited thing up to the information you have. And I just expect you guys to know that. Because if you watch my videos, you'll see it, right? And of course, we all have sides and we all have opinions. But that's the point of the YouTube video, to give people those opinions, to what side you're on, to what side you're not on in these individual stories, so that other people watch them and they can do what they will with the information, whether they're interested or not, right? So it was nice to talk to the Arpanet, to hear him say those things. I didn't know what to expect, I'll be honest. I didn't know what to expect in talking to Arpanet. He's a newer YouTuber. He's really good with live streaming. He's really good with technology. He knows what he's doing. He's good with his sound, right? He can run his own soundboard. He doesn't have to employ anyone to do it. He's really good at live streaming. He doesn't employ anyone to do it. Kind of like me. And I like the style of his show. Being a newer YouTuber, it's always a little touchy talking to a newer YouTuber because you don't know if somebody created a channel just so they could weigh in on a certain story and affect it a certain way, just like he told us. But in the very least, it's pretty cool that he said that. So, of course, that's always the issue. Whether or not a screenshot comes out or somebody says something in Twitter and DMs, and whether or not it should affect a story, has literally broken stories in the last few months. Broken to the point of exposed the truth of them. Got the real thing out there, like we had happen in the Katie Joy story, where these screenshots come out, and the logical thing is don't even consider them until they're verified. Let's not even take them to the public until we've done something to verify them. That's what, everything falls on. That's what everything, that's what everything is hinged on, is whether or not these screenshots are real or not. So they are going to affect the story in a massive way. Let's do a little bit of work. That's the issue. When that happened in the last story, I noticed that it was like, no, don't check those screenshots. I have an issue with that. I stood up and told everybody I had an issue with that, and I didn't shut my mouth about it. When they came up, I stood up and told you, I have an issue with those damn screenshots coming up, and that's what started a big mess. The mess needed to happen. The mess was the thing that revealed the real truth. And yeah, people are going to pick sides. Those people are the ones that are, when you are picking sides and when you're selectively taking in information, when you're unwilling to hear someone out there, other than people that are just fucking around joking, wipe that off the table or laugh and joke and watch it. But if you're unwilling to hear somebody's side that's trying to weigh in, I do think it's going to restrict what you're able to do with a story. Heavily, even, right? Anyway, I'm rambling. Great conversation. I hope to get Arpanet back pretty soon. It's just, he's got things he does. He's got his own show and he's got a family, so he's one of those people that I would have back. So whenever Arpanet, bro, whenever you want to jump in on an after show, or even if we're having a different discussion here and it's appropriate to have somebody else on to talk for a few minutes or for a little bit, all you got to do is jump in the live chat and let the mods know. And if we can get you on, we'll get you on. Because until you start attacking me incessantly, I'll at least offer you that. So I don't think you will, but it's always a possibility in this day and age of sides and stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'm heading to the RockaLot channel. I've got stuff to tell you about and talk about that I don't want to bring up over here just yet. Hopefully you come over there. It's called RockaLot on YouTube, UNIRocktv on DLive, UNIRock on Mixer, UNIRocktv on Periscope. You know the deal by now, right? All right. See you soon. Make sure to go check out Arpanet and his coverage of the Lillee Jean Story if you're interested. See you next time. UNIRock, out to the RockaLot. That's what I'm not out. I'm out to the RockaLot. Thank you, Navy. Thank you, Navy. Heading over to the RockaLot, turning on the signal right now. Here it goes. Here we go. All right, thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you're new here, or not if you don't like us. Upvote if you liked it, downvote if you didn't. If you really liked us, you can support us on PayPal. I'll see you tomorrow on UNIRock 2, and I'll see you right now on the RockaLot channel and all after show networks.